So what I've been doing is, previous 2 days I was fishing, as you'll see if you watch the video, and then today I went to the range because I was pretty keen to make sure that a couple of my rifles were sighted in. Because when I do the accuracy testing, I'll use my Delta Optics Titanium 4.5 to 30, the much vaunted Delta Optics Titanium that I rave about because it's a fantastic scope. But once I've tested out loads and the accuracy of the thing and you know, yada yada yada, I'll put, if it's a hunting rifle, I'll put a hunting scope on it, usually a VX Leopold VX Freedom. And so I just wanted to I wasn't sure if a couple of my rifles had actually been sighted in with those hunting scopes or not, so I took them along. But let's see. Last week, because I've been whinging about having problems with my two 17 Hornets. I've got a CZ here in Australia. I've been criticised for saying CZ. What are you, American? No, I'm not, but you know, CZ, tomato, tomato. CZ 527 in 17 Hornet, and my Savage Model 25 in 17 Hornet, and I was rather disappointed with both of them. But one of the biggest issues that I had to figuring out what they liked, what sort of loads and, you know, projectiles and everything and powders that they liked, is with the problems that I had with the Hornety brass, which is just absolute garbage. So now what I use is Cellular and Bellow brass. I bought 200 rounds of it and shot that off, and I've still got a few rounds left of it, and once I shoot that off, then I use that to reload with. But firstly, so it's been a long 3 days and a long day today, so I'm having a beer. I'm drinking Grolsch. That's the proper pronunciation. Right, it's a Dutch beer. It's from the Netherlands. All right, it's not pronounced. It's spelt Grolsch, but they don't pronounce it Grolsch. They pronounce it Grolsch. Yeah, so it's a really nice beer. Oh yeah, it's good stuff. They know how to make beer. So anyway, last week, I'll use this so you can see exactly where the holes are. So I figured out what this, originally what I was using was Hodgdon Little Gun, right, which is actually an Australian powder that they make for Hodgdon, and at least that's my understanding. But I didn't. The results from that, using that stuff, was not that crash hot. So I had a look at the doyen, you know, the granddaddy, you know, of Australian shooting. There's a guy called Nick Harvey. I think he's still alive, and one of his loads, he was using a powder called AR2205. I think the equivalent is Hodgdon 110 or 4227, because Hodgdon actually sell pretty much all of Australian powders under their names. Now, so at 100 metres, using 10 grains of AR2205, and I was using all these groups. I was using CCI BR4 bench rest number 4 primers, small rifle primers. So that's the results I got, which is pretty damn good, because this is how I looked at it. I'm only going to shoot a rabbit or a fox, mostly rabbit, in the head once. I'm not going to shoot it 3 times in the head. I'm not going to shoot it 5 times in the head or 10 times in the head, only once. And if I've only got a deviation of, the biggest deviation out of these, how many groups is there? 9. Oh, there's 9 shots there. this is the last of the ammo that I fired off. I did fire off some groups, but then so the biggest deviation from 0 is that one there, and that, I'm going to turn it on, dopey. The biggest deviation is, put that down. Should have done this before. Lack of preparation, too much beer. Is 0.57 of an inch. That's the biggest deviation. What's that one? That's even less. Yeah. So that's the biggest deviation, 0.57 of an inch. Now, considering the size of a rabbit's head, there's absolutely no doubt. I mean, how many are touching or in the black? One, and that's that dot is only, how big is that dot? It's it's half an inch, so that dot's half an inch. So you got one touching, one touching, one touching, one in, one just slightly out, one in. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good damn accuracy. So that's the CZ. So I figured out what it likes. I figured that out last week. Now, today, what I did was, I had a suspicion, and I'm not exactly sure why I had that suspicion. Might have been, I'm psychic or a savant, a crazy savant, which is probably most people would say, yeah, that'd be it. You're like, you know, Rain Man, Fruit Loop, you know. But and I thought, you know what? Because when I crossed over to using AR2205, Hodgdon 110, 4227, I went, you know what? I'm gonna make bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger loads. See how far I can take this. And I went all the way. So I did 8 different loads. 10.1 grains, 10.2, 10.3, 10.4, 10.5, 10.6, 10.7, 10.8. And you know what? I saw absolutely no indication of excessive pressure, like nothing. Bit of cratering in the firing pin, but like the primers weren't flattened, they weren't popping out. I had no problems at all. I had one light primer strike, but yeah, that might be because I know that when I was putting some of the primers in, it was like, and I actually stripped some of the side off the primer, so that might have damaged the anvil because it wasn't going in straight. So that's my suspicion there. Now, so these groups, what I did was I shot 3, 3, then 4, 3, 3, then 4, 3, 3, then 4. And you get the gist. And they weren't bad. So at 10.1 I got 0.98, 1.3, 0.9. Then at 10.2 grains I got 0.76, 0.38. Yeah. 0.79 with a flyer. Without the flyer it would have been about 0.3. Then at 10.3 grains I got, what did I get? I got 0.7, 1, 0.82, 1.6 with the flyer. Now at 10.4 grains, and I think this is what I'm going to go with. At 10.4 grains I got 0.43, 0.48, 0.66. So that was really good. Then at 10.5 grains I got, that's, I don't know if you can see that, there's a massive fly there that went into this page. So that one was 1.34, 0.3, then 0.37, then 0.7 without the flyer, 1.25 with the flyer. Then 10.6 grains, it was 0.59, 0.56, and I screwed up. Instead of shooting arrow shot here, and that was 0.39 without the flyer, 1.5, 1.15 with the flyer. Then 10.7 grains, it was sort of strung out vertically, 1.33, 0.74, 0.78. So when I got to 10.7, I thought, oh, this is really getting big. So that's obviously I've reached this limit and the accuracy is decreasing. Well, not necessarily, because at 10.8 I got 0.73, 0.82, two virtually in the same hole, and 0.48. That's 4 shots. That's 4 rounds. 0.48. So there's absolutely no doubt about it that this rifle, the Savage Model 25, is capable of some really good accuracy, and that 10.4, that 10.4 grain load, 0.43, 0.48, 0.66, with 2 almost in the same ragged hole. Now, and get this, on that rifle, on the Savage Model, I was using the Walters El Cheapo Chinese scope, and the center dot on that is massive. Like it covers these dots, so I can't get a proper indication of what's going on. So what I intend to do is put the titanium on the Savage, and I'll make up some 10.4 grain loads and see how I go, because that is really, I mean, you know, I showed this to the guy, the buddy who was shooting next to me, and he was going, what are you whinging about? How can you argue with that? I can't. It's good. Yeah. Sorry. Beer. Now, the 2 rifles that I wasn't sure if I'd because what I shoot through them is my where is it? My Ruger Gunsite Scout in 308, and these days the only factory ammo that I actually buy in any amount, and I buy a bulk ammo tins of them. I think there's 400 of them. Yeah, I think it's 400 to a tin in the 308. And the price is just so good that it's sort of, it's almost not worth reloading, because I think it's like $660 for 420 or something. Less than $1.50 a round for 308. It's like here it might seem a lot to you guys in the States, but here in Australia, that's sweet FA. So, and this is using both of these rifles have got the 4-12 VX, the Leopold VX Freedom on them. So with my old eyes, you know, not good. I want 30 power. Yeah. But anyway, so the Ruger Gunsite Scout shooting OSA Buffalo River loaded with 165 grain Sierra Game Kings at 100 metres on 110 yards on 12 power maximum. 10 rounds, 1.58 of an inch. Now, I have absolutely no doubt that if I had been using my Delta Titanium on 30, that'd probably be an inch. You know, that is the Ruger Gunsite Scout is such an accurate rifle. I can't stop raving about it. If you don't own one, why not? You know, in 308, no point buying a 223. Now, if you want to buy a 223 rifle, this is my 223 currently. It is the Remington 7615 pump action. If you don't own one of them, to my mind, they are 2 rifles that you should own, because they are astoundingly accurate and so well made. You know, a lot of people bag Remington these days, but I can tell you right now, that little pump, it's amazing. 16-inch barrel on it. You know, it's a pump action. Yes, it is. The bolt does turn, and it's essentially like a bolt action, but with a slide. But you know, it's still only a 16-inch barrel, a sporter barrel, right? And so, again, Buffalo River, 223. It's 55 grain. Sierra Game Kings as well, I'm pretty sure, if I remember rightly. So 55 grain Sierra Game Kings, Buffalo River, 223 ammo. Again, VX Freedom, 10 shots, 1.6 of an inch, you know, on 12 power. I can't see anything at 12 power. So those two rifles, I suppose I'm sort of, I got lucky. Like, no, I do my research, but there is absolutely no doubt that if you do not own a Ruger Gunsite Scout, you are deficient. You are missing out. If you do not own a Remington 7615 pump action, you are deficient. You are missing out. They are fantastic rifles. The accuracy is just staggering, you know. And this is with factory ammunition. That's the other point I want to make. OSA, outdoor sporting agencies here in Australia, the Buffalo River ammunition, they load with Sierra projectiles, and their ammunition is made by ADI, Australia Defence Industries, also known as Thales. That ammunition, because they make, Australian Defence Industries make the military's ammunition, it's absolutely fantastic. It's outstanding. So that's a, you know what? Going from being absolutely just despondent and disappointed about my 217 Hornets, now I'm cock a hoop, because after so many dramas, I've figured out what the hell is going on, and they are seriously accurate rifles. So I don't know. Maybe let's play that up. Maybe this information is useful. If you've got a 17 Hornet, you've got to play around with it. Don't necessarily just use little gun, because all the reloading videos that I've seen, or hand loading videos that I've seen, they all use little gun. No, don't. Alright, I can't, I hate little gun. It's almost like flour. The granules are so fine, it's just a horrible powder to work with. So try, if you're here in Australia, try AR2205. If you're in the United States or overseas, whatever, try, I think it's Hodgdon 110 or 4227, I think is the equivalent. Give that a whirl. Exactly the same weight. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised if your Hornet is not doing what you think it should be doing. So I hope that's useful, and hope I entertained you. See you later.